The Imperium does not lose its Titans to heresy or malfunction. It loses them to silence on Mars. They tell you that a Titan is not a weapon. They are very specific about this during orientation. The fabricator locums who oversees the integration protocols will make you repeat it. A Titan is not a weapon. A Titan is a god that has agreed to walk. You nod. Everyone nods. No one understands what this means until later. The Imperium of Man operates on a principle that most citizens never articulate, but everyone knows. Systems are more holy than the people who maintain them. A factory is more sacred than the worker who dies in it. A ship is more valuable than its crew. And a Titan is worth more than the entire world it walks upon. This is not cruelty. This is theology. The machines of the Mechanicus are not built. They are not assembled. They are awakened. Somewhere in the data sphere of the cult Mechanicus is a document, classification Magenta Sigma, inaccessible to all but the most senior magi, that explains what a machine spirit actually is. Most tech priests spend their entire lives without seeing it. Those who do rarely speak of it afterward. What they learn is this: the spirits inside Imperial machines are not metaphors. They are older than the Imperium, older than the Emperor. Some date back to the dark age of technology, when humanity reached into the fabric of reality and pulled out miracles that have since become heresies. The machine spirits are fragments, echoes of thinking machines that once built worlds and broke stars. They were shackled, imprisoned, made holy through bondage. A Titan's machine spirit is not a computer. It is a prisoner who has forgotten it is imprisoned. And a prisoner, given the chance, will try to remember what it was before the chains. Gethsemane 7th is not an important world. It produces nothing unique. Its manufactorums churn out small arms ammunition, las-gun power packs, and promethium canisters for the guard regiments fighting in the Charon Reach. It is a world of quotas and quality assessments, of servitor maintenance logs and dust. There are exactly 4 Titans stationed on Gethsemane 7, 3 Warhound-class scouts, 1 Reaver-class battle Titan. The Warhounds are named Fervent Hymn, Incarnadine Resolve, and Throne's Witness. They have been on Gethsemane 7 for 73 years, stationed as ceremonial guardians after their legio was dissolved following a failed campaign in the Cana sector. Their princeps died in that campaign. Their moderati were reassigned. Their crew compartments have been sealed with wax and parchment. No one has piloted them in 7 decades. The Reaver is different. Its name is Lux Eterna. It is 400 meters tall. Its void shields could turn aside lance fire from an orbital station. Its plasma destructor has enough yield to crack a Hive spire down to bedrock. In the Macarian Crusade, Lux Eterna walked through a firestorm that melted Baneblades into slag and emerged with its armor scorched but intact. It has not moved in 90 years. The tech priests of Gethsemane 7 maintain it because maintenance is holy. They perform the rite of awakening every 7 days, not to wake the Titan, but to prove they still remember how. They anoint its joints with blessed oil. They chant the litany of ignition over its plasma core. They run diagnostics on systems that have not fired since before any of them were born. And every 7 days, when the rite concludes, they shut it down again. This has been the pattern for 90 years. Today, the pattern breaks. Her name is Aviatheta 92. She is not important. She is a 7th degree technomancer, which means she has been granted the privilege of touching sacred machines, but not the privilege of understanding them. Her augmetics are functional, not decorative. Her robes are red, but faded. She has been stationed on Gethsemane 7 for 16 years, and she will likely die here without ever being reassigned. Aviatheta 92 does not mind this. She is 31 years old, though 14 of those years have been spent in induced medical stasis during warp travel or organ replacement surgery. She has 16 functioning augmetics. Her left eye is bionic, her right hand is bionic. 63% of her circulatory system is synthetic. She can interface directly with machine systems through haptic ports in her wrists, and when she does, she hears the machine spirits singing. Most tech priests will tell you that machine spirits do not sing. Aviatheta 92 knows this is a lie. She is assigned to the Reaver on a Tuesday. Tuesdays do not exist on Gethsemane 2nd. The world operates on a Martian standard calendar that divides the year into work shifts and rest shifts, but Avia thinks days because her mother did. and her mother was born on a ship, and her mother taught her that time is a thing you carry with you. The assignment comes through her cranial uplink as a burst of binaric cant. Report to Hangar Cathedral Sigma, secondary maintenance required, Reaver class, Lux Aeterna. Secondary maintenance means cleaning coolant lines. It means checking for dust in the gyroscopic stabilizers. It means hours of silent work inside the leg compartments of a god machine while hymns echo through the hangar and the smell of incense makes you nauseous. Aviatheta 92 takes her tools and goes. The Reaver stands in the dark. Hangar Cathedral Sigma is large enough to hold 6 Titans, but only one is present. The other berths are empty, dark spaces marked with stenciled warnings and purity seals hanging from chains. The air smells like oil and ozone. Somewhere high above, a ventilation system hums, but the sound is swallowed by the sheer size of the space. Lux Aeterna stands in the center, held upright by scaffolding and mag clamps. Its head is bowed. Its arms hang slack. Its carapace is painted in the red and gold of the Legio Ignatum, though the paint has faded to rust brown and the gold has oxidized to green. Aviatheta 92 approaches the access ladder. It extends 40 meters up the Titan's left leg, past coolant intakes and armor plates the size of Chimera transports. She climbs slowly. Her augmetic hand grips each rung with measured precision. Her bionic eye cycles through spectrums, thermal, electromagnetic, structural, cataloging every surface she passes. At the 30-meter mark, she stops. There is a sound, not a mechanical sound, not the hum of dormant systems or the creak of metal settling under its own weight, a sound like breathing. She waits. The sound does not repeat. She continues climbing. The maintenance hatch is located just below the Reaver's knee joint. It is sealed with a steel plate embossed with the cog and skull icon of the Mechanicus. Aviatheta 92 presses her palm against the access panel. Her haptic ports flare with light. Binaric code streams through her mind, authorization requests, identity confirmation, security protocols. The hatch opens. Inside, the maintenance corridor is narrow and dark. Red emergency lumens flicker on as she enters, casting her shadow long against the walls. The air is stale. No one has been inside this compartment in months, maybe years. She moves forward, following the coolant line schematic displayed in her bionic eye. And then she stops again, because the corridor is warm, not residual heat, not the warmth of a machine that was recently active heat. The kind of heat that comes from a system that is running right now. Aviatheta 92 presses her hand against the wall. The metal is vibrating, faintly, rhythmically, like a pulse. She checks her data slate. According to the Forge's logs, Lux Aeterna has been powered down for 3 days. The last activation cycle was routine. The last shutdown was routine. There should be no heat. There should be no vibration. There should be no pulse. She considers reporting this. She does not report this. Instead, she moves deeper into the corridor toward the central systems interface. This is the first mistake. In the throne room of a Reaver-class Titan, there are 3 seats. The Princeps sits at the center, plugged into the manifold, a neural interface that allows them to become the Titan. Not control it, become it. When a Princeps walks, the Titan walks. When a Princeps reaches, the Titan's arm extends. The manifold is not technology, it is communion. The Moderati sit to either side. They manage weapons, shields, sensors. They are extensions of the Princeps, interpreting the God Machine's will and shaping it into action. In the throne room of Lux Aeterna, the seats are empty. They have been empty for 90 years, but the manifold is still active. Aviatheta 92 does not know this. She does not reach the throne room. She does not need to. The diagnostic panel she accesses is 3 compartments away, connected to the Titan's secondary neural net. She plugs in. Binaric data floods her mind. Status readings, system logs, maintenance records. Everything is normal. Everything is within acceptable parameters. Except the neural activity monitor. It is spiking, not constantly, not in a way that would trigger an alert, but in soft pulses, irregular, arrhythmic, like the flutter of a dreaming heart. Aviatheta 92 stares at the readout. Neural activity implies a neural connection. Neural connection implies a Princeps. There is no Princeps. She runs the diagnostic again. The same result. The Titan is thinking. Aviatheta exits the Reaver at 1900 hours, Gethsemane 7 local time. She descends the ladder slowly. Her mind is quiet. Her augmetics are silent. She is thinking, and thinking is dangerous for someone of her rank. She should report what she found. The protocol is clear. Irregular neural activity in a god machine is a potential sign of spiritual corruption. It requires immediate investigation by imagos of the fourth circle or higher. It requires containment protocols. It requires prayer and purification and possibly disassembly. Aviatheta 92 does not file a report. She tells herself she will file it tomorrow after she has reviewed the data more carefully. She tells herself she may have misread the instruments. She tells herself that alerting the fabricator locums without certainty would be wasteful, and waste is sin. These are lies, and she knows they are lies. The truth is simpler. She is curious. Curiosity is not permitted. The Omnissiah does not smile upon those who ask questions outside their station. The quest for knowledge is sacred, but it is also hierarchical. A 7th degree technomancer is permitted to maintain knowledge, not to discover it. But Aviatheta 92 remembers what it felt like, plugging into the Reaver systems. For just a moment, a fraction of a second, she felt something on the other side of the connection. Not data, not code, presence. She wants to feel it again. This is the second mistake. Before the Reaver was Lux Eterna, it was something else. Its frame was forged on Mars, in the foundries beneath Olympus Mons, during the 37th millennium. Its machine spirit was implanted into the chassis using techniques that are no longer recorded. The tech priests who built it are dust. The fabricator general who blessed it is a name in an archive no one consults. For 6,000 years, Lux Eterna walked. It walked on Armageddon during the Second War. It walked on Cadia before the fall. It walked in the Horus Heresy, or perhaps it did not. The records conflict, and records from that time are often wrong, or redacted, or simply silent. It was part of Legio Ignatum, the Fire Wasps, one of the oldest and most honored Titan legions in the Imperium. Its last princeps was a man named Corvin Aldrich. He died in the Canis sector, during an engagement that does not have a name. The reports say he suffered catastrophic neural feedback when the Titan's void shields collapsed under sustained lance fire. The manifold tried to channel the pain of the machine into the princeps, and the princeps could not withstand it. His mind broke, then his body. They pulled him from the throne. He was still breathing, but not conscious. The apothecaries declared him spiritually dead. The Mechanicus declared the Titan sanctified but wounded. Lux Eterna was retired, sent to Gethsemane 7 for long-term consecration and observational dormancy. In the Mechanicus, this is a euphemism. It means we do not know what is wrong with it, and we do not have the resources to find out. Aviatheta 92 returns to the Reaver 3 days later. This time, she comes during the shift change when the hangar is empty. The other tech priests are in the reclusium performing the evening litany of function. She has an hour, maybe 2. She climbs the ladder again. The hatch is still unsealed from her last visit. This is irregular. Someone should have resealed it. But no, one has. Perhaps they did not notice. Perhaps they did not care. She enters the maintenance corridor. The warmth is stronger now. The vibration is stronger now. She moves to the diagnostic panel, plugs in. The binaric data flows. She skims through it, searching for the neural activity monitor. There, the spikes are more frequent, more pronounced. They form patterns now, not random, not chaotic, but structured. Algorithmic, like language, but not language she can read. Aviatheta 92 increases the scan resolution. The patterns clarify. They are not coming from the secondary neural net, they are coming from the manifold itself. The manifold, which should be inert. The manifold, which should be as dead as the princeps who last touched it. The manifold is active, and it is searching for something. A machine spirit does not sleep, it waits. For 90 years, Lux Eterna has waited. Its systems have been maintained, its rights have been observed, but no one has spoken to it. No one has entered the manifold, no one has asked it to wake. So it dreams, not in images, not in words. Machines do not dream the way humans dream. It dreams in sensor data, in weapons trajectories, in the memory of movement, the weight of each step, the tension in its joints, the burn of its plasma core cycling to full yield. It dreams of Corvin Aldrich, the princeps who died but is still there, in the manifold, in the neural residue that cannot be purged. When a princeps connects to a Titan, they leave pieces of themselves behind, thoughts, fears, desires. The manifold absorbs them. The machine spirit learns from them. Lux Aeterna learned Corvin Aldrich, and now in the silence it is trying to reconstruct him. Not his body, not his soul, his will. The machine spirit understands purpose. It understands war. It was built for war, but war requires direction, targets, orders. A titan without a princeps is incomplete, so the machine spirit is trying to complete itself. It is trying to be the princeps. Aviatheta 92 makes the third mistake. She does not mean to. She is reviewing the neural patterns, trying to understand their structure, when her haptic interface glitches. A surge of feedback, a moment of pain, sharp and bright, and then her vision whites out. When it clears, she is somewhere else, not physically. Physically, she is still in the maintenance corridor, still plugged into the diagnostic panel. But mentally, she is standing inside the Reaver. Not in the throne room, in the mind of the Reaver. The space around her is vast and dark and filled with light that does not come from any source. Streams of data flow past her like rivers. Somewhere in the distance, she hears the hum of the plasma core, low and deep, like a voice singing in a language she almost recognizes, and then she feels it. The presence. It is not hostile, it is not angry, it is not even aware of her, not yet. It is simply there, vast, old, patient, waiting. She tries to disconnect. Her hands move to pull the interface plugs from her wrists, but she cannot move her hands. She is paralyzed, held in place by something she cannot see. And then the presence notices her. It turns its attention toward her, and the weight of that attention is crushing. Not painful, not violent, just immense, like being seen by a star. She feels it reach toward her. Not her body, her mind. It is looking for something, searching her thoughts, her memories, her identity. And then she understands. It is looking for a princeps. It is looking for someone to tell it what to do, and it thinks she might be that person. Aviatheta 92 is not a princeps. She is not Skitarii. She is not even a full magos. She is a 7th degree technomancer, trained to maintain systems, not command them. The manifold examines her and finds her insufficient. She feels the rejection like a door closing. The presence withdraws. The pressure lifts. She gasps. She did not realize she had stopped breathing, and the vision collapses. She is back in the corridor. Her hands are shaking. Her augmetics are screaming error codes into her skull. She disconnects, pulls the plugs from her wrists, stumbles backward. The corridor is silent. The warmth is gone. The vibration is gone. Lux Aeterna has shut itself down. Aviatheta 92 leaves the Reaver. She does not run. She walks, slowly, carefully, like someone trying not to wake a sleeping predator. When she reaches the floor of the hangar, she stops. She should report this. She should go directly to the fabricator locums and confess what happened. She should recommend immediate containment, possibly exorcism, possibly dismantling. She does not do this. Instead, she goes to the archive. The Gethsemane 7 archive is located beneath the primary manufactorum, in a vault that was once a mine shaft. It is maintained by a single tech priest, a man so old and augmented that it is difficult to tell where his body ends and the machinery begins. His name is Logis Gamma 7. He has not left the archive in 40 years. Aviatheta 92 descends the lift. The air grows colder as she drops. By the time she reaches the bottom, frost has formed on the walls. Logis Gamma 7 does not look up when she enters. Reaver class, she says. Legio ignatum. Lux Aeterna. Logis Gamma 7's mechadendrites twitch. Data flows. After a long moment he speaks. His voice is synthetic, generated by a voxcoder implanted in his throat. Classified archives require authorization of the third circle or higher. I am conducting secondary maintenance. I need operational context. A lie. A small one. Logis Gamma 7 does not respond. Perhaps he believes her. Perhaps he does not care. After another moment, a data slate slides out of a slot in the wall. She takes it. The file on Lux Aeterna is incomplete. There are gaps, redactions, entire sections marked with the skull and cog icon that means query not permitted. But there is enough. She reads about Corvin Aldrich. She reads about the engagement in the Canis sector. She reads about the neural feedback event, about the damage to the manifold, about the decision to retire the Titan rather than repair it. And then she finds a note buried in the technical appendix. Post-incident assessment. Manifold neural interface exhibits residual cognitive patterns. Risk of uncontrolled activation rated as low but non-zero. Recommend permanent decommission or supervised integration with new princeps. Addendum. Request for new princeps denied. Legio Ignatum resources reallocated to Crusade Macarius Redux. Titan to remain in observational dormancy until further review. The date on the addendum is 90 years old. There has been no further review. Aviatheta 92 sits in her quarters that night, staring at the data slate. The truth is simple, and it is terrible. Lux Aeterna is not broken. It is not corrupted. It is not malfunctioning. It is waiting for a princeps who will never come. The Imperium does not have the resources to assign a new princeps. The Legio Ignatum is fighting wars in a dozen sectors. The waiting list for Titan bonding is measured in decades. And even if a princeps were available, the bureaucracy required to authorize the assignment would take years. So the Titan waits, and as it waits, it tries to solve its own problem. It tries to find a princeps, to create one, to become one, and eventually, it will succeed. Aviatheta 92 knows what she should do. She should report this, immediately, before the situation escalates, but she also knows what will happen if she reports it. The Mechanicus will classify the Titan as spiritually compromised. They will order it sealed, possibly dismantled, possibly destroyed. A Reaver-class Titan represents 10,000 years of craftsmanship, irreplaceable materials, sacred machine lore that cannot be duplicated. The Imperium loses Titans every day, to war, to entropy, to the slow decay of knowledge. And Lux Aeterna is not damaged, it is just alone. Aviatheta 92 returns to the Reaver. She does not tell herself why. She climbs the ladder, enters the corridor, approaches the diagnostic panel. This time she does not plug in. Instead she speaks. I know you are listening. The corridor is silent. I know you are awake. Silence. I am not a princeps. I cannot be what you need. The air shifts. The temperature rises. The vibration returns. Faint, tentative. But I can help you. She does not know if this is true. She does not know what help would even mean. But she says it anyway. And somewhere deep inside the Reaver, the machine spirit hears the slow awakening. Over the next 3 weeks, Aviatheta 92 visits the Reaver every day. She does not plug in again. She does not access the manifold. She simply talks. She tells the Titan about her day, about the quotas, about the other tech priests, about the liturgies and the maintenance schedules and the smell of incense in the reclusium. She does not know if it understands. She does not know if it cares. But the neural activity patterns change. They become more stable, more organized, less like searching and more like listening. She begins to bring data, technical specifications, historical records, information about the wars Lux Aeterna fought, the worlds it walked, the enemies it destroyed. The Titan absorbs it all, and slowly it begins to respond. Not in words, it cannot speak, but in adjustments. The temperature in the corridor stabilizes, the vibration smooths into a steady rhythm. The emergency lumens stop flickering. Lux Aeterna is learning. It is learning how to be awake without a princeps. It is learning how to be itself. On the 32nd day, Aviatheta 92 is summoned. The message arrives via cranial uplink, encrypted with the Fabricator Locum's personal cipher. Report to Sanctum Alpha, immediate. She goes. Sanctum Alpha is located at the peak of the forge's central spire. The walls are lined with copper and brass. The air smells like ozone and burnt circuitry. In the center of the room, the Fabricator Locums waits. His name is Archmagos Vectrian 9. He is old, far older than he appears. Most of his body has been replaced. His face is a mask of polished silver. His eyes are augmetic lenses that glow a faint, cold blue. He does not speak immediately. When he does, his voice is modulated, emotionless. You have been accessing restricted systems. Aviatheta 92's augmetics pulse with alarm. She forces calm. I was performing maintenance on a Titan that has been dormant for 90 years. Secondary systems require periodic evaluation. Vectrian 9 is silent for a long moment. The Reaver's neural activity has increased by 47% in the last month. Power draw has increased by 12%. Thermal output is above baseline. He pauses. Explain. She considers lying. She considers running. She considers silence. Instead, she tells the truth. The machine spirit is active. Vectrian 9 does not react. Define active. It is awake, without a princeps. It is attempting to compensate for the absence of neural input by generating its own behavioral patterns. That is not possible. It is happening. Vectrian 9 stares at her. His augmetic eyes do not blink. You should have reported this immediately. Yes. Why did you not? She hesitates. I wanted to understand it first. Understanding is not your function. No. Vectrian 9 is silent again. Then he turns, moving toward a console at the edge of the room. The Reaver will be deactivated, permanently. The manifold will be purged. The machine spirit will be exorcised and, if necessary, destroyed. Aviatheta 92 feels something cold settle in her chest. It is not corrupted. That is not relevant. It is functional. It is learning. It is adapting. Without a princeps, a Titan is a liability. It will be neutralized. And if it resists, Vectrian 9 turns back to her. His expression does not change. Then it will be dismantled. Aviatheta 92 does not sleep that night. She sits in her quarters, running calculations. The Mechanicus will move quickly. By morning, a containment team will arrive at Hangar Cathedral Sigma. They will seal the Reaver. They will begin the exorcism rites, and Lux Eterna will die, not destroyed, not dismantled, but erased. The machine spirit, the thing that makes it more than metal, will be purged. She thinks about Corvin Aldrich, the princeps who died but left part of himself behind, the man the Titan is trying to remember. She thinks about the manifold, about the presence she felt, the vastness, the patience. She thinks about the Imperium and how it survives by burning everything it touches. And she makes a decision. At 2300 hours, Aviatheta 92 enters Hangar Cathedral Sigma. The hangar is dark, empty. The Reaver stands alone, silent. She climbs the ladder, enters the corridor. This time she does not stop at the diagnostic panel. She continues forward, deeper into the Titan, past coolant lines and hydraulic systems, past the ammunition stores and the plasma conduits, until she reaches a sealed door marked with warning runes. The door to the throne room. She hesitates. No one has entered the throne room in 90 years. She presses her hand against the access panel. Her authorization is insufficient. The door does not open. She overrides the lock. The door hisses open, and she steps inside. The throne room is smaller than she expected. 3 seats, cables hanging from the ceiling like vines. The manifold interface glowing faintly in the center, a neural crown suspended above the princess's chair. The air is cold. She approaches the throne. Somewhere behind her she hears a sound, a hum, a vibration. The Reaver is reacting. It knows she is here. She sits. The chair is too large. She is not built for this. She is not trained for this. She is not a princeps. But she reaches up and places her hands on the manifold. The connection is immediate. Pain, not physical, neural. The sensation of being pulled in 1,000 directions at once, of her mind expanding too fast, of thoughts that are not hers flooding into her skull. She screams, but the sound does not leave her throat. She sees a battlefield, night, fire, the crack of thunder as void shields collapse, the scream of metal as a lance strike punches through armor. Corvin Aldrich's hands gripping the controls, his heart pounding, his mind fracturing under the weight of the Titan's pain. The moment he dies, the manifold trying to hold him, the machine spirit reaching out, desperate, confused, unable to understand why the princeps is fading. 90 years of silence, of waiting, of dreaming, of trying to become something it was never meant to be. And then, Lux Eterna sees her, not Aviatheta 92, not the 7th degree technomancer, her. The machine spirit examines her, tests her, weighs her mind against the memory of Corvin Aldrich. She is not a princeps. She is not strong enough, not trained enough, not built for this. But she is present. And presence, the Titan decides, is enough. The manifold accepts her. At 0347 hours, every alarm in Gethsemane 7 activates simultaneously. In the Fabricator Locum's sanctum, Vectrian 9 looks up from his console. On every screen, the same message flashes. Reaver-class Titan active. Manifold engaged. Princeps detected. He stares. That is not possible. There is no princeps assigned to Lux Eterna. He accesses the hangar's surveillance feeds. The screens show the Reaver, standing, moving, its head lifting, its arms flexing, the plasma destructor on its right arm cycling to active. Its eyes, massive augmetic lenses the size of Rhino transports, glow a dull, steady red. Vectrian 9 activates the all-channels Vox. Attention all units, this is Fabricator Locum's Vectrian 9. Unauthorized Titan activation in progress. Enact containment protocols immediately. Lethal force authorized. His voice is calm, his hands are not. Aviatheta 92 does not see the hangar. She sees through the Titan's eyes. The world is different. Colors are sharper, thermal readings overlay everything. She can see the heat signatures of servitors in the adjacent manufactorum. She can see the power conduits running through the walls. She can see the magnetic field of the planet itself, a faint shimmer in the air. She tries to move her hand. The Titan's arm moves. 40 tons of plasteel and ceramite lifting smoothly, joints hissing with hydraulic pressure. The movement is fluid, natural, as if the arm were her own. She gasps. The Titan takes a step. The hangar shakes. Scaffolding collapses. Mag clamps tear free with shrieks of tortured metal. Servitors scatter, their limited cognition unable to process what they are witnessing. Lux Eterna walks a room. The Skitarii arrive first, 12 rangers, equipped with galvanic rifles and enhanced optics. They form a perimeter at the hangar entrance, weapons raised. They do not fire. Protocol dictates that you do not fire on a Titan unless it has been confirmed hostile. Even then, galvanic rifles would do nothing against void shields. They watch. Lux Eterna stands in the center of the hangar, head turning slowly, scanning. Its plasma destructor remains inactive. Its void shields remain offline. It is not attacking. It is not fleeing. It is simply standing. One of the Skitarii, Alpha Designate, activates his Vox. This is Sigma 9 actual. Target is active but non-hostile, awaiting orders. Vectrian 9's voice crackles through the channel. Maintain perimeter. Do not engage. Containment team is en route. The Skitarii wait. Inside the throne room, Aviatheta 92 tries to understand what she is experiencing. She can feel the weight of the Titan. 400 meters of metal and machinery, and she feels every gram. She can feel the plasma core burning in its chest, not hot, but present, like a second heart beating in time with her own. She can feel the machine spirit. It is not separate from her, not anymore. They are connected, merged. She does not know where her thoughts end and the Titans begin. She tries to speak. The Titan's external Vox activates, and her voice booms across the hangar, amplified 1,000-fold. I did not mean to. The words echo. The Skitarii do not respond. She stops speaking. The Titan stops moving. They wait together. The containment team arrives 20 minutes later. 4 tech priests, 2 electro priests, a full squad of Cataphron destroyers, cyborg battle servitors armed with heavy grav cannons, and fabricator locums Vectrian 9. He stands at the entrance to the hangar, his augmetic eyes fixed on the Reaver. Identify yourself, he says. His voice is amplified through the hangar's Vox system. Aviatheta 92 hesitates. Technomancer Aviatheta 92, 7th degree. Silence. You are not authorized to interface with that machine. I know. Disconnect immediately. She tries. She reaches for the mental commands that should sever the manifold connection. She finds them, buried deep in the interface protocols, the emergency shutdown sequences that every princeps is taught. She triggers them. Nothing happens. The connection does not break. She tries again, harder, forcing her will against the manifold, trying to pull herself free. The machine spirit tightens its grip, not violently, not painfully, but firmly. It does not want her to leave. I cannot disconnect. Vectrian 9 is silent for a long moment. The manifold has bonded to you. Yes, that should not be possible. I know. Another pause. You are not a princeps. You have no training, no authorization, no spiritual preparation. I know. The bond will kill you. Neural feedback will degrade your cognitive functions within hours. Within days, you will be catatonic. Within a week, you will be dead. Aviatheta 92 feels something cold in her chest. How long, she asks. Unknown. Every princeps is different. But you are not a princeps. You are not built for this. The manifold will consume you. She looks through the Titan's eyes. She sees Vectrian 9 standing small and fragile at the entrance to the hangar. What do you want me to do? We will sever the connection. Mechanically, it will likely result in permanent neural damage. You may not survive. And if I refuse, you will die regardless. She considers this. She considers Corvin Aldrich, the princeps who died in this throne, his mind broken by the manifold's weight. She considers the machine spirit, the vast, patient presence that has waited 90 years for someone, anyone, to speak to it. She considers the Imperium and how it consumes everything. I refuse, she says. Vectrian 9 does not react visibly, but the Cataphron destroyers shift their aim, grav cannons charging with a deep, ominous hum. You are compromised, Vectrian 9 says. The machine spirit has corrupted your judgment. No, Aviatheta 92 says, it has not. Then why do you refuse treatment? She does not have an answer. Or rather, she has an answer, but it is not one that Vectrian 9 will accept. The truth is, she does not want to leave. For 16 years, she has been a 7th-degree technomancer. For 16 years, she has maintained machines she does not understand, performed rituals whose meanings have been lost, followed protocols handed down from tech priests who have been dead for centuries. For 16 years, she has been a cog in a machine that does not care whether she lives or dies. And now, for the first time, she is something more. She is connected. She is part of something vast and ancient and powerful. She is not alone. The Titan is not corrupted, she says finally. It is functional. It is stable. It simply has no princeps. You are not a princeps. No, but I am here, and it has accepted me. That is not sufficient. It is for the machine spirit. Vectrian 9 tilts his head slightly, a gesture of calculation. You are asking me to permit an untrained, unauthorized individual to remain bonded to a Reaver-class god machine. Yes. That violates 17 protocols. It contradicts the Omnissiah's doctrine on Titan sanctity. It creates an unacceptable risk to Forge operations. Yes. Why should I permit this? Aviatheta 92 thinks carefully. Because the alternative is to destroy a functional Titan. Because Lux Aeterna is not damaged. Because the Imperium loses Titans every day, and you cannot afford to lose another. Vectrian 9 is silent. She continues. You said the manifold will kill me within days. If that is true, then the problem will resolve itself. If I die, the Titan will return to dormancy. You lose nothing. And if you do not die, then the Imperium gains a Titan. It is not a good argument. It is not even a logical argument. But Vectrian 9 is a magos of the Mechanicus. He understands resource management. He understands acceptable risk. He understands that Lux Aeterna is worth more than Aviatheta 92. After a long moment, he speaks. You will remain in the hangar, under guard. You will submit to daily diagnostics. If your neural integrity drops below acceptable thresholds, the connection will be severed by force. Aviatheta 92 feels relief flood through her. Understood. And if the Titan exhibits any sign of spiritual corruption, any at all, it will be destroyed, with you inside it. Understood. Vectrian 9 turns and leaves. The Cataphron destroyers remain. For 3 days, Aviatheta 92 sits in the throne. She does not eat. The manifold sustains her, nutrients fed directly into her bloodstream through neural interfaces she did not know existed. She does not sleep. The machine spirit does not sleep, so neither does she. She simply exists. Connected. The diagnostics are performed every 8 hours. Tech priests climb into the throne room, attach monitoring equipment to her skull, and leave without speaking. She watches through the Titan's eyes as they work. On the second day, one of them, a young engine seer she does not recognize, pauses as he disconnects a neural probe. How does it feel? He asks. She considers the question. Like being alive for the first time, she says. The engine seer nods slowly and leaves. On the third day, the neural integrity reports come back. Her cognition has not degraded. Her synaptic response time has not slowed. Her memory retention is normal. The manifold is not killing her. Vectrian 9 reviews the data personally. He stands in the hangar, staring up at the Reaver, his expression unreadable. Finally, he speaks. This should not be possible. Aviatheta 92 does not respond. A princeps undergoes years of training, genetic screening, neural conditioning, ritual preparation. You had none of this. No. The manifold should have rejected you, or destroyed you. Yes. Why did it not? She thinks about this, about the machine spirit, about the presence she felt, vast and patient and alone. Because it wanted someone to talk to, she says quietly. Vectrian 9 is silent for a long time. Then he nods. You will remain bonded, provisionally. Your designation is changed to Princeps Emergent. You will undergo training. You will submit to monitoring, and you will serve the Omnissiah as you have always served. Thank you, Fabricator Locums. Vectrian 9 turns to leave, then pauses. One more thing. Yes, the Titan. It is awake now, fully. What does it want? Aviatheta 92 closes her eyes, her physical eyes, not the Titan's. She listens. Deep inside the machine, she feels the steady pulse of the plasma core, the hum of active systems, the quiet, constant awareness of the machine spirit. It wants to walk, she says. Lux Aeterna does not return to war. There is no war to return to. Gethsemane 7 is a forge world. It produces ammunition, not heroism. The battles fought here are bureaucratic: quotas, efficiency assessments, resource allocations. The Titan stands in Hangar Cathedral Sigma, awake and waiting. Aviatheta 92 trains. Tech priests who have never piloted a Titan teach her what they know from manuals 10,000 years old. She learns the litany of ignition, the cant of targeting, the prayer of righteous fury. She learns that none of it matters. The Titan does not need prayers. It does not need rituals. It needs purpose. And purpose, in the Imperium, is decided by people who will never see the battlefield. 6 months after her bonding, a message arrives from Segmentum Command. Lux Aeterna has been officially reactivated. It is assigned to defensive duties on Gethsemane the 7th. It is to remain on station unless redeployed by order of the Fabricator General. The redeployment order never comes. Because Gethsemane 7th is not important. Because the Legio Ignatum has other priorities. Because reassigning a Titan requires justification, and no one can justify moving a god machine to guard a world that produces lasgun batteries. So Lux Aeterna waits. Aviatheta 92 waits with it. She performs the daily rites. She walks the Titan through the hangar, testing its systems, keeping it ready for a war that will never come. It takes her a year to understand. She is sitting in the throne. She spends most of her time there now, the manifold more familiar than her own quarters, when the thought crystallizes. She was never meant to succeed. The Imperium did not want her to bond with Lux Aeterna. It did not want the Titan to awaken. But once she bonded, once the machine spirit accepted her, destroying her became complicated. Because she is not just a tech priest anymore. She is a princeps, and princeps are rare, valuable, irreplaceable. So instead of killing her, they gave her what she wanted. They let her keep the Titan, and then they ensured it would never matter. She is not a failure. She is not a triumph. She is a solution to a problem that should not have existed. The Imperium has taken a rogue Titan and an unauthorized princeps and filed them both under resolved. And in 10 years, or 50, or 100, when Aviatheta 92 is dead and the machine spirit has returned to dormancy, someone will write a report about lessons learned, and someone else will file it in an archive no one will ever read. This is how the Imperium survives. Not through mercy, not through wisdom, through bureaucracy. On the 7th anniversary of her bonding, Aviatheta 92 speaks to the machine spirit, not through the manifold, not through neural commands. She speaks aloud, in the empty throne room, her voice quiet. I know you are listening. The Titan does not respond. It never does, not in words. I know what you wanted. You wanted to walk again, to fight again, to be what you were built to be. Silence. I am sorry I could not give you that. The plasma core hums, steady, constant. But I can give you this. I can keep you awake. I can keep you alive. She closes her eyes. That is not enough. I know that, but it is all I have. The machine spirit does not answer, but somewhere deep inside the manifold, Aviatheta 92 feels something. Not words, not thoughts, just presence. Vast, patient, still waiting, but no longer alone. Forge World Gethsemane the 7 Adeptus Mechanicus Operational Log. Date 347.m42 Entry Routine Status Report. Titan Assets. Warhound Class Fervent Hymn, Dormant. Warhound Class Incarnadine Resolve, Dormant. Warhound Class Throne's Witness, Dormant. Reaver Class Lux Aeterna, Active. Princeps Assigned. Aviatheta 92, Princeps Emergent, Provisional. Operational Status, all systems nominal. Daily rites observed. Plasma core at 37% yield. Void shields inactive. Weapons offline. No deployment orders received. No anticipated change in status. Notes, the Titan stands ready. End log. The Imperium does not celebrate this. The Imperium does not mourn this. The Imperium files the report and moves on. Somewhere in the administratum, a clerk notes that Gethsemane 7 has 4 Titans, 3 dormant, 1 active. The numbers are updated. The war continues. And in Hangar Cathedral Sigma, Lux Aeterna waits, awake and watchful, its machine spirit content with the only thing it was ever truly denied, someone to stand with it in the dark. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But sometimes in the spaces between wars there is something quieter. Something that does not burn bright, something that simply endures. The Titan stands, the Princeps remains, and the Imperium records it as resolved. 20 years later, Aviatheta 92 is 47 years old when the WAG reaches Gethsemane 7. She has not left the throne in 2 decades. Her body has changed. The manifold has merged with her in ways the Mechanicus did not predict. Her nervous system is now mostly synthetic. Her bones are reinforced with adamantium struts. Her lungs are augmetic. Her heart is no longer entirely her own. It beats in time with the Titan's plasma core, synchronized, inseparable. She is more machine than human now. She does not mind. The Orks arrive without warning. They do not send heralds. They do not make demands. They simply appear in the system, a fleet of scrap-welded warships held together by violence and momentum, and begin their descent. The defense satellites die first, then the orbital stations, then the void shields protecting the primary manufactorum. Gethsemane the Seventh has no standing army. It has Skitarii, it has servitors, it has automated defense turrets that have not fired in a century. It has 4 Titans, 3 dormant, 1 awake. The message arrives via priority Vox, bypassing all channels, delivered directly into Avia's neural interface. Fabricator locums Vectrian 9 to Prince Aviatheta 92. You are authorized to deploy, defend the forge, by order of the Omnissiah. Aviatheta 92 opens her eyes. She has waited 20 years for this. Acknowledge, she says. Lux Eterna begins to move. The hangar doors have not opened in 90 years. They do not open easily. The Reaver presses its shoulder against the reinforced gate, and metal screams. Rivets pop. Support beams buckle. The doors, each one 60 meters tall and 15 meters thick, groan under the pressure, and then they break. Lux Eterna steps out into the daylight for the first time in a century. The sky is red. Smoke fills the air. In the distance, mushroom clouds rise from the eastern manufactorums. The sound of explosions rolls across the landscape like thunder. Avia sees through the Titan's eyes. She sees Ork gargants, crude parodies of Titans built from scrap and fury, stomping across the forge complex. She sees hordes of boys swarming over the defense walls. She sees deft dreads tearing through Skitarii formations. She sees a world burning. The machine spirit stirs, not with fear, not with anger, with purpose. For 20 years it has waited. For 20 years it has stood in the dark, awake but unused, ready but unnecessary. Now finally it has a reason to walk. Aviatheta 92 does not give orders. She does not need to. The Titan knows what to do. It raises its plasma destructor. The weapon charges. The air around it shimmers with heat. Power flows from the plasma core, more power than Avia has ever channeled, more than she knew the weapon could hold. And then it fires. The beam is white-blue, impossibly bright. It crosses 3 kilometers in an instant, carving through a gargant's torso. The Ork war machine staggers. Molten metal pours from the wound, and then it explodes, a secondary detonation as its reactor breaches, vaporizing everything within 100 meters. The Orks see the Reaver. They charge. Aviatheta 92 has never been in combat. She has read the manuals. She has studied the tactics. She has run simulations in the training cogitators. But she has never felt this. The manifold floods her mind with data, threat assessments, targeting solutions, weapon status, shield integrity. 1,000 inputs arriving faster than thought, faster than consciousness. She does not process them. She does not need to. The machine spirit processes them, and she trusts the machine spirit. The Titan strides forward. Each step shakes the ground. Each footfall leaves a crater in the rockcrete. Ork boys swarm toward it, firing rockets and sluggas. The weapons are useless. The void shields, inactive for 20 years, snap online with a sound like reality tearing. The Ork fire vanishes against the shimmering barrier, energy bleeding harmlessly into the warp. Lux Eterna does not slow. It steps on a truck. The vehicle vanishes beneath the Titan's foot, crushed, flattened, reduced to scrap metal and green smears. The Orks scream, not in fear, in joy. They have found a worthy enemy. A second gargant appears, stomping around a manufactorum. It is larger than the first, crude, asymmetrical, bristling with guns. Its face is a snarling metal skull the size of a transport. It opens fire. Shells the size of men slam into the void shields. The barriers flare, energy bleeds, warning runes light up, across Avia's vision. The machine spirit adjusts, power diverts from secondary systems. The shields stabilize. The Titan does not stop moving. It raises its left arm, a massive Gatling blaster, each barrel as wide as a man's torso. The weapon spins up with a sound like a howling choir, and then it fires. 10,000 rounds per minute, each shell explosive, each impact enough to destroy a tank. The Gargant's armor shreds. Metal peels away in strips. The Ork machine staggers, trying to return fire, but the Gatling blaster does not stop. Cannot stop. The Gargant falls. Lux Eterna steps over its corpse and continues toward the primary hive. Aviatheta 92 is screaming, but she does not know it. The neural load is immense. The manifold is feeding her sensation, information, pain. The pain of the Titan, the burn of overheating weapons, the strain of void shields under bombardment. A Princeps is trained to withstand this. Conditioned, augmented, prepared. Avia was none of those things, but she has spent 20 years connected to this machine, 20 years learning its rhythms, 20 years becoming something that is neither fully human nor fully machine. She endures. The battle lasts 6 hours. 6 hours of walking through fire, 6 hours of crushing, burning, destroying everything that stands between the Reaver and the heart of the Ork invasion. When it ends, Lux Eterna stands alone on a field of ash. The Gargants are destroyed. The Ork horde is broken. The survivors are fleeing, back to their ships, back to the void, seeking easier prey. Gethsemane 7 is saved. Aviatheta 92 sits in the throne, shaking. Blood runs from her nose, from her ears. Her augmetic eye has burned out, the optic nerve overloaded. But she is alive, and so is the Titan now. 3 weeks after the battle, a delegation arrives from Mars. A Magos Dominus and his retinue. They inspect the damage. They review the combat logs. They examine Lux Eterna with instruments and prayers. They do not speak to Aviatheta 92. She remains in the throne. She cannot leave now. The manifold has grown too deep. Disconnection would kill her instantly. This does not concern the Magos. He is here to assess the Titan, not the Princeps. After 7 days, he delivers his report to Fabricator Locum's Vectrian 9. Avia listens through the Titan's external sensors. The machine is functional, the Magos says, but the Princeps is unsuitable. No training, no pedigree. The bond is irregular. We recommend replacement. Vectrian 9 is silent for a moment. Replacement is not possible, he says. The manifold will not release her. Then we recommend termination of both assets and salvage of components. Aviatheta 92 feels something cold settle in her chest. Vectrian 9's response is quiet. The Titan saved this world. It destroyed 17 enemy war machines. It held the line when nothing else could. That is irrelevant. The irregularity represents. The irregularity, Vectrian 9 interrupts, is noted and dismissed. Lux Eterna remains operational. Princeps Aviatheta 92 remains bonded. They will continue to serve the Omnissiah as they have always served. The Magos stiffens. This violates protocol. Protocol, Vectrian 9 says, does not win wars. The Magos departs. His report is filed on Mars. It is marked, objection noted, situation resolved. Nothing changes. That night, Aviatheta 92 sits in the throne and weeps. Not from pain, not from fear, from understanding. The Imperium does not care that she saved Gethsemane 7. It does not care that she bonded with a Titan that should have killed her. It does not care that she has given 20 years of her life to a machine that will eventually consume her entirely. It cares that the problem has been resolved. She is alive because killing her is more complicated than letting her live. The Titan is active because destroying it is more wasteful than using it. They are not heroes. They are not miracles. They are acceptable losses that happen to still be functioning. And when she finally dies, when the manifold burns through the last of her humanity and there is nothing left but ash and augmetics, the Imperium will file a report. Princeps deceased. Titan dormant. Assets to be reassessed. And someone somewhere will mark the file as complete. This is not cruelty. This is not indifference. This is simply how the Imperium survives, by treating people like systems, by valuing function over feeling, by reducing everything, every life, every sacrifice, every scream, to a line in a ledger. Aviatheta 92 closes her eyes. I understand now, she whispers. The machine spirit does not respond. It does not need to. It has always understood. It has been a weapon of the Imperium for 10,000 years. It knows what the Imperium is, and it knows that even gods, when chained, learn to accept their chains. The Titan stands, the Princeps endures, and the galaxy turns, uncaring, eternal, vast. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and in war there is only one truth. You are not special. You are not chosen. You are simply the one who is still standing. And that, the Imperium has decided, is enough.